Well, it's become a kind of tradition at World Championships for us to talk to the guys who actually make the cars go. It's the electronics gurus, it's Oscar Jansen from Orion, and of course Jurgen Lautenbach from LRP. Normally we do it separately, but this time we decided to keep them together. I'm between them to stop a fight breaking out, and I have promised them a beer afterwards.
No worries.
Now, I'm going to start by taking you both back 4 years to Italy.
Yes.
Now, in those days we had 6 cells and the very beginnings of brushless motors, and everyone said that's far too fast, it's got to slow down. And now they're even quicker.
Correct. So what do you want me to answer on this? Yeah, it went a lot faster, and of course it's a lot of action for the driver. But always fast always means also more complications. And one of the things, of course, is extra tire wear and a lot of stress on the mechanics and the electronics. But till now everything looks good here. Not so many defects. So.
I mean, that's an interesting thing, really. I mean, we had it wasn't even as hot as this in Italy, and we had lots of cars shutting down and thermaling, and of course now they're having even more voltage. I mean, how much of a job is it for you guys to keeping pace with the massive increase in capacity and voltage and heat?
I think actually now with the brushless motor being fully developed, as you can see, we have a much easier time than we had in the past. Of course, in the beginning it was a little bit difficult with the high RPM, with the way the rules were in the beginning, with the bonded rotors. But now with the sintered rotors, I think it looks fairly good. The speed is really incredible. The lipos give us a lot of capacity. I mean, no one has a chance to dump here. So I think, yes, it went in the right direction, but of course challenging for all of us.
Now, those of you who actually watched the early series of RC Racing will know that Oscar gave us a fantastic guide about how to skim and clean up your brushed motor, which is now apparently an item on Antiques Roadshow. So what do you do at meetings now, Oscar? Before you were on your lathe the whole time, what is your role here now?
Well, now of course we still arrive with batteries, and of course the motors also need some service. The bearings broken, sometimes once in a while there's a little trouble, the people want a new magnet, and they want to have their motor tuned. So this is now more or less a service you give, and you arrive with the equipment, of course.
And that's the thing, Jürgen, obviously the speed controls, in a way for these cars they've standardised, but all the work now is going on with the speed controls for the higher wind cars in the stock classes, because it's all now about how you fiddle with electronics. I mean, how much work is that for you guys?
I mean, that's a lot of work, but I wanted to answer the other question, what do we do now? Nowadays we give interviews, so we have time to do that. I think Oscar already answered it the way I also think. I mean, now it's a lot of fine-tuning, giving the driver the feel they require, especially with the fact that they have to run on used tires, adjust the program, work with the magnets, things like this. So there is still, I mean, if you see him or if you see us, we most of the time still have hardly time to eat. So there is still a lot to do. But coming back to the stock motors, I mean, obviously with the technology now, there is a lot we can really do to make the stock motors go fast, and there is certain thoughts about this. It is a difficult one. From one point of view, the technology is fascinating. I mean, if you go with a standard speed controller, we have tested this with a 13.5 turn motor, you go 55 kilometers on the straight, and if with an all tweaked out setup speed controller, you go 82. Wow. So there's obviously a big difference.
That's good. Jürgen's obviously at the forefront of speed control. Is there anything new to come from brushless motors? What more can Orion do for that little kind of packet of power?
There's a lot more you can do actually. There's it starts in the whole triangle actually. You need a battery, a motor, and a speed control to go fast. In front of that, there's a charger to charge your battery to make it all happen. Battery technology at the moment is going really, really fast. I would almost say yesterday technology is already tomorrow it's already done, and there's still a lot of development to do. It also worries a little bit because the electronics need to be adjusted to that, and you need to look really now, I think, about 2 years in the future to when you start developing something to make sure that the battery are not catching up the electronics. So that's where there's a lot to do at the moment.
Well, we'll be here in 2 years at the next touring car to see whether that actually happens. So thank you to Oscar, thank you to Jürgen, and thank you for making our cars go. Thanks very much. And don't forget to carry on watching on hpi.tv for more news, views, interviews, and even some race action tomorrow from the finals.
Now you pay the bill.
No, I pay the bill. Yeah, now I pay the bill. Well, okay.